Welcome back to your ASEAN Weekly Recap, where we break down the biggest stories shaping Southeast Asia. This week, explosions rock a school mosque in Jakarta. Border tensions restart between Thailand and Cambodia. Billions flow into ASEAN's digital future, and in the Philippines, President Marcos vows Christmas in jail for officials tied to a massive flood scandal. Let's get into the top 6 stories you need to know. We start in Jakarta, where Friday prayers turned into chaos after an explosion tore through a mosque inside a high school complex. Nearly 100 students and teachers were injured, many suffering burns, hearing damage, and trauma. Police say the suspect is a 17-year-old student who allegedly built 7 homemade bombs inspired by violent online content. 4 devices detonated during the prayer session. What makes this case so disturbing isn't just the location, a mosque inside an educational campus, but the emerging picture of the suspect himself. Investigators describe him as isolated, overlooked, and possibly bullied. Inside his room, police found explosive powder, wiring, sketches of devices, and a collection of extremist material. Authorities now believe this was a lone wolf act, shaped by personal anger, amplified by the internet, rather than a coordinated terror plot. The incident has sparked nationwide concern over school safety, mental health, and online radicalization. Indonesia is reviewing campus security and tightening digital monitoring across the country, from an explosion of violence to an explosion of opportunity reshaping the entire region. Across Southeast Asia, a very different surge is taking over. ASEAN's digital economy is projected to cross the $300 billion mark as e-commerce, mobile payments, and AI-powered platforms rapidly expand. What makes this year unique is the shift from raw expansion to sustainability and profit. Young populations in Indonesia, Vietnam, and the Philippines continue to push digital adoption at record speed, transforming entire industries. Governments, however, are scrambling to update rules around data privacy, fintech licensing, and cross-border digital trade. The boom is creating opportunity, but also revealing gaps in infrastructure and digital literacy. This moment marks a major transition for ASEAN, a shift toward a future where technology becomes a core economic engine rather than a side sector. And as digital borders expand, physical borders continue to spark conflict. Along the Thailand-Cambodia frontier, a landmine explosion injured 4 Thai soldiers and instantly froze a peace deal the 2 nations had only recently agreed to. Thailand demanded an explanation. Cambodia denied responsibility. The 2 sides had spent months working on joint patrols and beginning demining operations to ease long-standing tensions. But this incident threatens to unravel that progress. The border already carries decades of mistrust, shifting troop lines, and sporadic clashes. ASEAN observers worry that another incident, accidental or otherwise, could trigger a new cycle of escalation. With heavy weapons being repositioned and talks on hold, the peace deal now survives only on paper, from a border divided to a region trying to unite economically. The Philippines and Malaysia made a quieter but important move this week. New commitments to deepen economic cooperation. Their discussions focus on expanding trade, boosting energy coordination, and exploring long-term infrastructure projects. While details remain limited, the partnership reflects a growing ASEAN trend, members turning toward each other for investment and stability, rather than relying entirely on outside powers. For the Philippines, the timing matters. Manila wants to modernize manufacturing, strengthen supply chains, and build tech ecosystems. For Malaysia, the goal is to reinforce its leadership role in Southeast Asia. Together, the 2 nations could reshape key maritime trade routes and improve economic resilience across the region. But as some nations push forward economically, others face political storms. In South Korea, the fallout continues after a drone incident placed the former president at the center of a widening investigation. While the case is unfolding in Seoul, its implications affect ASEAN deeply. South Korea is one of Southeast Asia's most important partners in defense tech, trade, and major infrastructure financing. A leadership crisis there could slow joint military programs, delay economic projects, or shift regional alliances. Analysts describe the current situation as tense but contained. Yet North Korea's ongoing missile and drone activity adds unpredictable pressure. Across ASEAN capitals, governments are monitoring the situation closely, aware that instability on the Korean peninsula always sends ripple effects across the region. And now, to the story dominating headlines in the Philippines. President Marcos escalated his response to the massive flood control scandal that worsened recent storm damage across Luzon. Dozens of lawmakers, contractors, and officials now face criminal complaints for billions in missing or misused infrastructure funds. Marcos vowed that some of them will be in jail by Christmas, marking one of the toughest anti-corruption stances of his administration. Investigators have frozen assets, seized luxury vehicles, and begun inspecting years of incomplete or defective flood control projects. For many Filipinos still recovering from the floods, this is more than politics. It's long overdue accountability. And across ASEAN, the scandal is a warning. With climate disasters intensifying, corruption in infrastructure can turn natural storms into national tragedies. And that wraps your ASEAN Weekly Recap, a region balancing crisis, cooperation, innovation, and resilience. More ASEAN updates coming daily. Appreciate you watching. Drop a like and sub if you want more content like this.